guess I gotta finally do it. And you probably were expecting this earlier. So I'm gonna do my top 10 of the worst movies of 2019. And just so you know, this is the first time on this channel I've ever actually done a top 10 worst of any year. So yeah, this might be surprising, this might be a bit, might be good, might be bad. This is gonna be a whole bunch of just me unloading my thoughts of the worst movies that I saw of last year. And just so you know, this is gonna be unscripted. So yeah, just me just regurgitating words out. So yeah, probably just I'm just rambling now. So I really don't want to do this, but we gotta do it. Let's start with number 10. Number 10 is Ugly Dolls. Yeah, you're thinking, like, Ugly Dolls? That movie wasn't that bad. I mean, you're probably thinking about that. I mean, well, my whole issue with this movie is, although the animation is kind of cute, and heck, even the voice acting is pretty good from our actors. The music is alright. My whole issue about this film is, since this is the whole concept of a film about ugly dolls, it seems like this film should have happened a long time ago. And I mean it really does. I mean, it just screams like, say, okay, we're just trying to like go back and say, okay, what's popular? Okay, the Lego movie was popular. So, heck, even the Emoji movie, even though that movie was hated, it got some attention. Or even, yeah, the other Lego movies were pretty good too. Well, yeah, okay, we're just gonna talk about it. Ugly Dolls deals with a group of characters, ugly doll characters, they go in and just discover the world of Perfectville. And just say, our lead character, she just says, hey, I want to be perfect. That's gonna be great. I want to have a kid. And then during the entire the beginning half of the movie, the entire whole bit of the its themes of just being yourself, just, kids, just be yourself. It's just hammered down onto your head, and at the same time you just feel like you just suddenly realize, okay, that's the theme. After I think it was after 10-15 minutes, but then you just realize, okay, she wants to be someone else because, she wants to fit in, be accepted, even though everyone in the town already accepts her. But she just thinks, oh, there's gotta be something more for me out there. And I gotta say, at the same time, this movie's kind of mean. The idea of just, being Perfectville. I'll give the Nick Jonas's character. At least his character is kind of. He's not charming. He's just kind of annoying. But at the same time, you kind of understand his thing, hey, but then you don't understand his reason for being, hating the ugly dolls until the end of the film. And then you just realize, okay, is that really worth, the hate? The reason this film on my list is so low is mostly just because at the same time, I kind of hated just the whole thing of how, just this theming, how it's just trying overhead. Also, the fact that, I found the characters kind of bland. It just seemed like it's just full of cliches of, character wants to be accepted. Other characters, oh no, you're alright. Everyone else is just happy. Like it just seems like every one of these films based on a kid product. And at the same time, you just realize a film about, being yourself, it just could have been done better. I mean, that's all I've got to say. It could have been better. Number 9. I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this one, but number 9 is Shaft. Or maybe I'm not. I mean, when I heard, like, the original films of Shaft were, like, say, black exploitation films, and I've got to say, and then we eventually got sequels of the Shaft films, Richard Roundtree, and then we got a reboot with Samuel L. Jackson. I think it was back in the 2000s. And then we got this one, which is, like, say, a passing of the torch sort of film, which deals with Shaft's son, John Shaft Jr. And although everyone is giving a serviceable job, they kind of are. My whole issue though with the film is just that it just got annoying just hearing, like, say, okay, what's a vagina look like? Or, like, you say, hey, this guy might be gay. Or, like I said, or, I just find the whole film kind of cringy. And at the same time, the whole, like, say, oh, the military guys, they're part of the bad guys. It just seemed kind of obvious. It really was. And at the same time, I'm also just saying, like, say, JJ is also he works for the FBI, and he's trying to solve a case about who killed his best friend, even though he just says, oh, my best friend wasn't a drug dealer. And, at times the film can be funny, but at the same time, I'm just thinking, like, you get a bit of details, like, say, okay, this guy, JJ could be a good detective and a bit of a ladies' man, but at the same time, wouldn't it have been funnier if at the end of the film, like, he ends up just, he's like, say, he is, for the entire time we get to, like, say, okay, maybe he is, like, his dad, like, he might be a ladies' man, but then last minute switch, oh, hey, this is my friend, Kyle, or something like that. That would have been, like, changing up the tropes, and then, but then again, it would have also been, like, it wouldn't work because we're doing gay bashing, then suddenly, oh, the main character is suddenly gay. And like, one of the subplots is, Shaft is trying to go after a crime lord who basically ended up breaking his family apart, and he at the end of the film, he just gets wasted away, and it just feels like, say, okay, that subplot was completely and totally useless. The villain didn't do anything, and overall, it just, my whole issue that Shaft is 2019 is that it's just kind of dull. The humor is just, I know I'm gonna get, like, say, it's just cringy. At the same time, it's just, I feel like, ugh. I really had trouble trying to get through that film, and so basically, and when I watched it, I was watching an airplane, and it's what, I could watch any of these things, but at the same time, I thought, ugh. I tried to watch it in the past, and I thought, oh, I can't do this. I hate it, but then I tried to get through it, and I thought, okay, it was like one of the movies for, okay, this is a long plane flights, but this is on, sure, maybe I'll watch it. And I'll give it this, the film is pretty good as a kind of background noise. It's alright. But at the same time, if you like Shaft, then at the same time I'm thinking you might not like it. Also, they do a Lawrence Fishburne joke, and I'm just thinking, because in the past, Samuel L. Jackson has said, hey, I'm getting tired of being confused with Lawrence Fishburne. And it's, the humor is just bad. It really is. So number 8. Number 8 is Annabelle Comes Home. And although in one of my previous videos I said, hey, Annabelle Comes Home, it's not bad, I did have to look back at it and just think, okay, compared to the other and like Conjuring films, or even even the original Annabelle film is not that great. The sequel, pretty good. But at the same time, like in this film, we do get a lot of say, the concept of Annabelle coming home and all that. It's pretty good. But at the same time, you're just say, I'm kind of wanting to know more about Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like, where are they going? What is their whole what is their investigation they're going on? Like while they leave their daughter alone with a possessed doll, and at the same time, they realize, okay, our house is full of demented stuff, and you don't think, okay, maybe we need to have a really, really strong security system. In fact, so strong that teenage girls can't go in it because they think maybe a something in will help me talk to my dad, who I feel guilty because I was in a car crash. And I will give it the bit of detail, like say, hey, okay, I like some of these characters, but my whole looking back at it, my whole thing about it though is that it's like a going to say a Halloween maze. You just feel, oh hey, oh, you're having a bit of fun with it, but at the same time you're just like, why did I find that? Why did I enjoy that again? And I'll give it say some of the ideas they're trying to do, say, I think it's some one of the fishermen. He had there was some other ghost, a ghost of a samurai, suit of armor. That was so some of these ideas, say these haunted artifacts are pretty cool, or whether a TV that tells you the future if you look at it long enough. It's got some great ideas, but at the same time, it's mostly just focusing on, okay, this is our main thing, and at the same time, you don't really, you see Annabelle some, but most of it is say, okay, Annabelle basically is causing a bunch of crazy nonsense, and you're just thinking, so the entire movie is just say, okay, so Annabelle, this little doll, which is controlled by a demon, is causing all this demented stuff to happen in the Ed and Lorraine Warren house. The Warren house. And at some point you gotta think, okay, I can turn my head off and believe it. But at the same time, you also gotta think that Ed and Lorraine Warren, they were the Mythbusters of their day. The ghost hunters of their day. And sometimes they made a lot of great stories, but at the same time, you just gotta think, say, is any of this believable? And also, the guy who did, I think the director of this film, Annabelle Comes Home, was gonna be doing the next Conjuring film. Or I could be wrong. So number 7. Number 7 is Rambo Last Blood. Okay, another film that I kind of liked, but at the same time, it just kind of felt okay, this, the whole idea of Rambo going against, say, a sex trafficking. It's an interesting concept. Looking back at it, the last hour, like 30 minutes of the film is so over the top that is one of the only few reasons to watch it. But I mean, there's some dramatic moments of it, like say whether like say one of our leads, John's basically daughter, going to see her real dad, realizing say he didn't want to, or something like that. Other sequences, or when she is, being held hostage by the traffickers. Yeah, those were some really very kind of dramatic and intense moments. I gotta say that, although I kind of gotta say it's pretty good, it's alright, but at the same time, we've seen better from Rambo. We kind of have. And I guess, like, one of the things that my whole issue of the film is, though, when Rambo's going after to get his revenge, like, we kind of, I kind of expect, like, say, the guy that cut up his face, he seemed more like, say, the character that you would want to be as the bad guy. Or but then, no, he just gets killed off and John just goes away, and his brother finds him and says, "Okay, I'm coming to get you, Rambo." And then he does a Home Alone style. Rambo pulls a Kevin McAllister / John. Not a Jigsaw in his house or his ranch, and yeah, he does a lot of crazy stuff. We get return of his bow, which is pretty awesome. But if you're looking for a gory film that you can like say, you can remember say, okay, this is awesome, but at the same time we just go let's get to the action bit. Then this film is pretty good for the action bits. It's not great, but it's serviceable, I suppose. So number six is Medea's Family Funeral. And before I go into this one, I may like the old Medea movies. Heck, sometimes, and like the last two Medea movies, I may have laughed. I thought, okay, this is kind of funny, but at the same time, I thought, I just realized afterwards, say, why did I find that funny? Because some of it is just in your mind, just feeling, but in your head, you go, you're just laughing, just because you're just feeling let's just get through this. So Medea's Family Funeral is kind of bad. I can look back and feel okay, this is funny, but every joke is the same thing. Say most of the funeral jokes, or it's oh hey, remember my husband? How did he look when he died? And said, oh yeah, I remember. Cause spoilers, the joke is the guy who dies. He ends up choking to death from a S&M session with his mistress, and then that's how we get to our the Medea Family Funeral. And if it actually been someone of a character that we actually care for, say Joe, then that would have been more dramatic, because you like Joe, you think he's kind of funny, and then suddenly Medea's got to be more dramatic. You could have had your more funny moments, but some of the sequences, say whether it's say the funeral sequences are just it feels say the film is okay, I have this great concept, I probably have this great concept. What if Medea, but at a funeral, and she's just having to deal with putting a funeral together, and you think, okay, that concept sounds great, funny, but at the same time, whether there's a subplot of Brian dealing with the cops, and or say infidelity, one of the or anything like that, and then you just think, okay, like say Tyler Perry does his whole like say, in most Tyler Perry films he just does his bit of like say, okay, this is our takeaway thing you should remember, like say, okay guys, be good to each other and just don't be jerks. Don't cheat on other people, and be there for your family, because they won't always be there for you. Sort of deal. That's what the whole thing of it is. I mean, it really is. I mean, and at the same time, the whole marketing thing for this film was made to believe that, okay, this is the final Madea movie, and it's in the film. You just think, say, they're sequel baiting this to heck, and you just think, there's gonna be another one of these movies, isn't there? But the good thing about it, though, is there hasn't been any updates on if there's gonna be another Madea movies, which is, I suppose, good, unless we get Medea's family vacation, where she goes to the Bahamas, and she ends up having to deal with someone, like a secret agent, that's trying to kill someone because someone believes that Madea is an assassin. See, Tyler Perry, I gave you a funny, or like a concept for your next movie. Medea's family vacation and into Hawaii or someplace, and the secret agent thinks that she is a fugitive, that like someone is trying to pose as, or like be there's like someone like that's like almost like Madea. I don't know. I guess Madea Family Funeral, the humor is just cringeworthy, and at the same time you just think, at the same time you just like say, okay, I'm glad this movie series is over, and you just realize, oh no, it's not. You just think like, okay, maybe it's coming back. And jokes are just repetitive, and they just keep on going to say, oh, remember how like we found the dead guy? Like, he was just like I'm pretty sure the idea is he had a ball gag or something in his mouth, and he just, something like that. Or there was a sequence like say they're trying to say, okay, everyone, you are only allowed to have 3 minutes of time to talk about this man, and you only 3 minutes of singing. And everyone just keeps singing, and Madea keeps on going, and everyone goes, oh, everyone's going over the time limit. And I'm just like, ugh. At the same time, I guess that's one of the annoying things about funerals. I mean, we want to grieve, but at the same time, we also just really don't want it to be, we don't want to feel like, say, we want to move on. We don't want to just, sometimes we want to move on, but sometimes it's just hard to. I mean, that's why we tell funny stories about our family. But the Madea Family Funeral is like a story that we might not want to remember. It really isn't. Captive State is number 5. Captive State is a science fiction film that I only did like a 3-minute video on after I came out of the theater. And the only thing going for it, actually, there's not much going for it. There really isn't. The whole film is confusing because the trailer gives you this idea of basically I mean, the whole film is forgettable. In fact, it also there's so many characters that you flip-flops, okay, this subplot, this subplot, this subplot. The trailer makes it out to be a revolting against the aliens and all that, and you just think, okay, this sounds awesome. But every time the first time we see the aliens, you think, okay, this looks awesome. That's an awesome idea for an alien. And then we barely see it anymore. what happens is, and then, I'm trying to think, oh yes, and then basically the entire time the film, like, say, the beginning of the movie opens with a family trying to get away from the aliens and all that, and then flash forward a few years later, like, say, the government is just, gone to the, it's just not going well, and then the American governments have to get senators and other people to go into, or military people to go into outer space, or talk to the aliens and just say, oh, we'll listen, aliens, and you'll just stay away. And then the film is trying to be political filler, but at the same time, it just flip flops back and forth so much. You're like, say, what point? Like, say, okay, wait, who are these characters again? Or next say, oh wait, are we talking about? Oh, so we're not back to this guy, and say, it just flip flops everywhere, and just think, like, say, okay. You just get so confused, and you just think, okay, this is this character, this is this character, this is this character, and you just think, okay, so they're causing a revolution. But not much of a revolution happens. It's just like, say, okay, the main character remembers the past, and then suddenly, okay, and he says, okay, and then the past does him say, whatever you want to do, kid, just make it a good one. And then you just think, the Earth is in trouble, and you're just controlled by aliens, and you're saying, make it a good one. And, the film is just really confusing, and you just kind of forget, but at the same time you just think, okay, you have awesome ideas for aliens, but at the same time you barely use them, and you think, like, say, okay, we want to talk about, like, say, political thriller with aliens, and the government chasing after people because we're sort of trying to connect it to current modern times of precedent or something? Like, like, say, like, because there's certain groups of people that, like, say, okay, we'll do whatever the shadowy government tells us, and there's certain people that say, no, we're taking these little, like, cameras out of our arms and stuff, and just gonna do whatever the heck we want, because revolution or something like that. And it's just really, yeah, if you want to watch this movie, I'd say, okay, just go for it, but at the same time, I don't really, it's just real, I've forgotten about it, yeah. So, okay, we're almost getting there. Number 4, Men in Black International. And you're probably thinking, Steven, Men in Black International is number 4 in the worst of 2019? And I'm just thinking, like, say, yep. And mostly just because of how much this movie just kind of, there's, like, a lot of reasons why I found this film really, really bad. Mostly because, like, say, compared to the other X-Men movies, our lead character, she just, like, sees the aliens at the beginning of the movie, neuralize her parents, because, the Men in Black say, oh, hey, parents, we're gonna need you to get this because we have alien suspicions. And then she spends the rest of her life, adult life, trying to find the Men in Black because she says, I'm the best of the best and the best. And at no point in the movie do we just think, okay, she's the best. But sometimes we just keep on thinking about it. There's bits and pieces where, okay, she might be the best, but whereas, like, say, in the original film, Jay is, he's a great agent, but at the beginning, in Black 1, he's reckless. He's just, like, say, okay. He's just thinking, like, say, okay, like, say, like one idea I'll use is, like, say, like, he'll think of, like, things that most of the agents would have done, like, say, picking up the table, bringing it over, and just writing on it that way, while others are just going against their tables, going, And yeah, there's not much of detail of like say, okay, why she's the best. Um, what makes like say, Agent H or Chris Hemsworth's character, what makes him great? Um, and what made his partner? I mean, so yeah, like say we get these great locations, like whether it's in London or some of the locations are really cool, but at the same time it's just like say, okay, someone has infiltrated IB and joined our ranks, and just is posing as one of our own, and you just think, okay, this is a great concept and kind of a mystery sort of deal, but one of the things I just think, okay, that's like there's a bit of sequence where they say, okay, this film must be an action movie, but that's one of the issues that the Men in Black really weren't that much of. They may have had action sequences, but they weren't action films. They were like more like action. They had action, but they were science fiction films with a bit of mystery. Like say, okay, mostly just like say, who has the MacGuffin, or where's the MacGuffin, or why is these aliens here, or something like that. Like say, okay, we gotta go back. We gotta go back in the past in Men in Black 3 to what do we gotta do? Like, why exactly do we need to do this? Men in Black 2, okay, this alien's going after MacGuffins. We gotta find what the MacGuffin is. And yeah, I mean, we get a MacGuffin again, and it might be international, and we can get some funny humor. Like say, whether it was the little alien guy, and heck, even like say a bit of the drama of this film was that the actors had rewrote their things to give them lines that they actually liked, and I feel like say the whole story behind this movie would have been a lot more interesting. Heck, even like the director, he also directed Straight Outta Compton, F. Gary Gray, I think. Yeah, I know you're probably gonna put comments and say, Steven, this is this guy, all of it. But I do remember he directed Straight Outta Compton, which is one of my favorite, considered my favorite musical biopic films. Like his whole original concept was like say, aliens that are trying to just get out of and go back to the original planet, and it might be like because there's a bit of like say original like say the original other. I think it was one of the producers. He said, "No, we should do this," and I gotta say, some of the action is kind of dull. Like say some of the gadgets they kind of do is kind of neat, but I suppose if you're paying attention during the film, you kind of like understand who, like say, okay, in the trailer says, okay, we are it might be as compromised. You kind of understand who the whole bad guy could be, and you just like say, okay, that's pretty dang obvious. And my whole issue of this film is that it's just kind of dull. The action is just the humor is just, the characters aren't undeveloped, and you just think, okay, the story's just like, okay, this, that, and this, that. I mean, I just didn't like the film. It just kind of, I wish someone had actually used in the relationship to just say, make me forget about the film. And that's also how like a lot of people felt. I mean, for me, it wasn't the fact that we got new characters and that were different from the older films. And it's not really that. Mostly I thought the characters weren't really very well written. And they just weren't memorable compared to the old Men in Black films. It just feels like a bit of a departure, and extremely big departure, and you just think, okay, this is what we're going for. But okay, you guys wanted, you guys going for it, but I don't think they're gonna make another film after this because it's not gonna. Yeah, most people aren't gonna after this film happened. I don't think people is gonna have a trust in the Men in Black franchise unless suddenly they say we're gonna do the MIB 23 with Men in Black and 23 Jump Street, because that would have been awesome. But they decided to can that and then give us Men in Black International. Number 3, Gemini Man, and my whole issue. I mean, I gotta say, I mean, I may have like said okay, and I know you're probably expecting to say, oh hey, I see a pattern. Yeah. I mean, I kind of say okay, I had fun with this, a little bit okay fun with this, but the camera work, cinematography, while that for this film was pretty good. I know I'm using the word a lot, just bad habit. Like if we had shown more of a difference, like say okay, Will Smith's character Henry is just saying hey he wants to get out, but if we had just shown more details like times he just is thinking like say I want to get out of this business. Because it's only after, like, say, he just thinks, okay, I almost could have killed a little girl. I want out now. And at the same time, we don't really get any, we get some bit details, like, say, okay, Junior, or the Henry clone, he is a trained, assassin. And it would have been awesome. I've heard like a lot of reviewers say, hey, what if Henry was more the old school who just used like say old school weapons and old school techniques, like I mean he does at one point where he just is like if he had done more tripwire things that would have caused Junior to get confused. Because, Junior knows all the top tricks. Or what if he didn't know the old school stuff, but, he just did all that and just like said, I want you to be the best of the best, son, but, like say, we're only going to study on the future. And the whole bad guys, like say, I think it was Clive Owen, his whole reason for it, having all the Junior clones, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it actually makes sense. But at the same time, you're just thinking, say, okay, you kind of realize, like, say, if the whole climax is alright, but at the same time, you end up seeing characters like, say, B.D. Wong, I think it was his name. No. I'm sorry, I see what this movie did to me? I mean, it's really, I mean, the action is pretty good, but at the same time, I mean, the effects work, they did really well for this film. I mean, I'm going to say, the only good thing I'm going to say about this film is I could say, at times, like, say, the effects from Junior are really, really great. And then sometimes, like, you just think, like, compared to other things where it's a Marvel film, where they have the de-aging technique, but sometimes the de-aging effect is only for a few, like one scene. But this is an entire movie. Some points that you feel like, say, okay, that looks really good. But suddenly, you just realize, okay, because this is Will Smith portraying himself, a old Henry, and then, like, say, 40, I think, like, say, uh 20, I think like mid 20-year-old Will Smith as Junior, and you think it looks like really pretty dang good, but sometimes it will go like say, oh, and I think my whole issue with this film is just I've been it just really sucks that this film flopped. I guess say I know you're trying to think like say you got to think of reasons. I got my reasons are the concept is pretty good. Like say an old version, like a young version going after yourself, like like a clone of you that looks exactly like you, trying to go after you, knowing your every move. That's kind of scary. But at the same time, like say, it feels like they switch places too quickly, and like just like Junior just goes like say, okay, I have a conscience, and I feel bad and all that. It feels like that happens like say, and we don't go get this whole Junior thing until like say, I think it was 30 minutes into the film, and if they had actually like said did more of like say, um, how great of a bit of a agent Henry was. Then again, this film had multiple writers. It went through multiple development hell for many years. It would just it was just like a long production for this film. Um, the one thing I'll give it is like the effects are nice. The camera work that Ang Lee is doing for the film is really dang good. But at the same time, like the action sequences are okay. But at the same time, you think, say, this is a horribly written film, and you think, at the same time, you think, okay, you care tiny, but at the same time, like, you just like wish, okay, you just want a kind of a better movie. I mean, if you want a film, if you're gonna watch it on, like, if you suddenly catch it on, like, say, an airplane, you can say, okay, I'll check this out. I mean, it really sucks that compared, like, say, to Aladdin, this film was the first film in a while that uh, it's also considered Will Smith's biggest box office failure. We're getting there. Number 2, The Curse of La Lorena. I hated this goddamn movie. I hated this movie. I hated it. God, this movie just, it's pissed me off. It really did. At times I would here's the thing. Didn't want to watch this movie in theaters because I thought, okay, I can tell this movie is just hot garbage. It really did look like hot garbage, and I'm just thinking, like, okay. And at the same time, I'll say, oh, hey, it's connected to the Conjuring movie. So, like, serious. I thought, okay, skip. Because, I mean, mostly it's because, I mean, the whole concept of, like, say, a Conjuring film about, like, a Spanish folklore of a weeping woman that, will steal your children. That's kind of scary. And say the makeup effects for this film are pretty good. My whole issue of this film is it just kind of upsets me because of 2 reasons. The color palette for this film is just depressing. The lighting is just awful. It's probably just really extremely bad. And just like say, okay, what is going on here? You're just trying to go around and saying, what is going on there? Is the ghost just trying to? Is she just trying to go get the kid? Or oh, okay, the wind's blowing and like there's sequences like say like in the trailer like where like we see a bit of a Evil Dead thing where they say they do whoa like say where the ghost is going towards the door. It's like, oh, scary. Like, I mean, the opening sequence is kind of okay. Oh wait, now to think about it, I think this is the film that the director that's going to be working on the Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do. I think the new Conjuring film. Um, I really had trouble trying to get for this film. I really did. I mean, mostly just because like the acting was just terrible. Like, say our lead actress, you just think, like, what is that motion? And the kids are just going. Like, the kids are just all pretty bad in this film. I mean, and my whole issue with the film though, like I'm along with Chris Stockman on this. Like, say he goes like, say this film would have been great. He gets what was like, say this film would have been the concept of like, say, Mexican Spanish folklore would have been great if it had actually been done in Mexico, so that, you know, like, say you know, it's like someone would have like said, oh, we know about this. Like, there's like a bit of like a, like, one of the priests that was in he was in the what was it? Oh, and the Anne Becomes Home movie. The priest that is in most of the Conjuring movies, he's in this film, and he just goes like, say, oh hey, I know a group of people that could help, but they're on the east side. I mean, on the west side, I think. And then this is how this film is connected to the Conjuring franchise. And I gotta say, the look of La Lorena herself, it's creepy, but at the same time, you think that's not scary. And I just really did not find this movie scary. And that's one of the things about a horror film. You gotta have at least some sense of dread and some bit of horror to it to make it actually worth your while. Otherwise, you're just gonna think, okay, what's the point of this? I could only sequence I just thought, okay, that's scary, was when La Llorona's got, like, when the little girl's in the bathtub and she's like, he goes, like, rinse, please, and La Llorona goes, and the little girl's like, and John, almost Johnny, and he goes, and then and first, like, say, she thinks her kids are crazy, and then she thinks the social worker, the main character's social worker. And I gotta say, that's a pretty neat idea, having a social worker being attacked by, you know, the monster that's trying to take her kids away. Because social workers are, you know, like, you know, they try to, you know, make sure kids are okay. And sorry, the camera was starting to batteries running low. So, any last bits on La Llorona? I'm gonna really, the only bad thing I can say about, really bad thing about it though, the whole summary of La Llorona is that it kind of, it has its whole reasoning. You say, oh, it's a connection to the Conjuring films, and you think, oh, so that's it. And at the same time, you just think, like, say, this is dull, this is boring, this isn't scary, and you just think, why can this take place somewhere else? And sorry, the acting is just terrible, and you just think, this is what I mean. And we used to think that Annabelle was the worst, or heck, even Ouija was the worst. Wait, Ouija's not even part of the Conjuring films. But I really did not like this movie. I really hated it. I really thought it was, like, say, when I saw it, I thought, okay, this is extremely bad. Take this, probably, it's even, I mean, this is a bit of a challenge between which is worse, The Nun or this movie. But, I mean, which one do you think is worse? The Nun or La Lorena? Put your thoughts in comments down below. I really want to hear, like, your thoughts on that one. I really do. And I was gonna do an honorable. This honorable mention was the Haunting of Sharon Tate is this honorable mention. Oh, and the director of this director of the Haunting of Sharon Tate also directed the murder of Sharon Simpson. I mean, there's a horror movie about the murder of O.J. Simpson's wife. Like, say, yeah, it's just like most of these movies are just like really shot like a documentary, and they just think, like, say, okay, why are you doing this, filmmaker? Why are you doing this? But let's get down to number one. And you're going to be shocked about this one. Hellboy. Yes. In the past, when I did a solo video of this one, I said, okay, this movie is a bloody good time. But then I rewatched it on the airplane when I went to Texas. And at the same time, I just thought, okay, I forgot. Okay, yeah, they have to edit these movies out on, compared to, like, say, the Del Toro movies, far much of a departure. And although, it's trying to go more of a horror film or a over-the-top action horror film vibe, some, like, say, my whole issue with the film, though, now that I'm thinking about it, is I'm also having to look back and think about it critically, is this film is just not, it's just pretty bad. Most of the reason I think I may like it, I really do. It's like, I mean, we know how bad The Room is, but we still like it. There's some pretty fun, great action sequences in this movie, whether it's the trolls, or, heck, even, I mean, then again, the effects are kind of bad when you see, like, say, the droll ghost of each, dead person, whatever, like, say, I think it's Alice, she can, like, the Lewis Carroll character, she can, like, say, she's like a, what was it? Oh yeah, she was a, spirit medium, and she can, like, have spirits come out of her mouth and form, and which is kind of terrifying, but at the same time, it's like, what the heck? And like I said, like I probably said in the previous video about this film, the idea is it's trying to say that kind of thing is pretty neat, and David Harbour, he is giving it his all. He really is. He got jacked for the film. He got really jacked for the film. But when you see the edited version of it, the film is butchered beyond belief. And then again, some of the ideas, like, the whole film is cobbled together. If it's starting from, like, say, the whole plot of it being, like, say, the Nephilim, the Blood Queen. Originally, that was going to be the original title, Hellboy and the Blood Queen. But then I thought, okay, that's, I don't know why they changed it. Maybe because they realized, okay, they thought maybe we don't want this to be confused as a sequel to the Del Toro film, so just call it Hellboy. Maybe that's why. Um, but the film just goes like sequence to sequence. Like say, okay, like say the beginning starts in New Mexico. Like say, what are some of the popular Hellboy film comics? Hellboy going to New Mexico where he's uh, discovering vampires. Uh, him going to stop mountain trolls. The Blood Queen getting her limbs back together, sort of like Thanos getting the Infinity Gauntlets gems. And I kind of saw a YouTuber even referring to like Hellboy 2019 trying to be a ripoff of Avengers Infinity War. Uh, the pig monster trying to like, get each piece of the Nephilim's body so that she could be brought back to life, and I gotta say the creature designs for this film are pretty awesome, and if we had actually had I feel like if there was less studio interference, and heck, even if we had, like, say, I'm not saying that the director of this film is bad, because he did like one of the greatest claustrophobic horror films, The Descent, and heck, I kind of even liked what was that film he did? I think it was Doomsday. Yeah, I kind of liked that film too. But I mean, there's sequences like say whether it is Hellboy going to hell, Hellboy also being incarnate of a descendant of King Arthur. That's kind of neat, but at the same time, does that happen in the comics? Hellboy fanboys, Hellboy fans, does that happen in the comics? And you just think at a certain point, you just think, okay, Nephilim the Blood King is pretty awesome. We also get we get the introduction of the bureau, like say some characters. Heck, I even forgot one of the characters' names. I'm sorry, but one of the issues also of the film is I may like it, but some of the characters aren't very well written. They aren't very well written, and sometimes they're just like say, okay, oh, this character or this character. Like one of the characters is I think it was like one of the agencies, the new partner for Hellboy. He goes like say, okay, this guy was attacked by a werewolf, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. Like bit like where he's turning into his monster form at the end of the film, and also when we see Abe Sapien, that's pretty cool. But just like the film is pretty awesome, like but it has like this little bit of cool sequences, but it's just like getting to it is just like say, like you're just like waiting for like say, okay, I ever gotta look at my watch, or look at my phone, to just like say, okay. You're not gonna do that in theater, but certain times where you're just gonna like think like that's gonna be the point like where you think, okay, this point he is talking to a tooth fairy that's gonna tell Hellboy, this is where you find Nephilim, or Hellboy, I want your hand because I told you this. And we hit some things like say the lobster, which is pretty cool, but at the same time, like we get the reintroduction of Hellboy's origin story, of him being like I said, a descendant of King Arthur, which means he can wield Excalibur. And like if you're gonna watch this on like an airplane, be warned, this film is extremely neutered. Mostly just in the gore department where you think, and that's one of the reasons I think the film is pretty good when it comes to action. But then suddenly you think like, okay, you lost me here. Like, there's a thing where like say an edited cut, like where you see, like where he like in the trailers, like there's sequences like say giant monsters are going to destroy like parts of Britain, and like a part where like a monster that has a sword and goes like, chopping people's bodies off, and then like say him the Hellboy cutting the witch's head off, and then she's starting to talk, and then in the edited version she is like, "Lady, quit while you're ahead," and I was like, oh. And then he just throws her down to the pit of hell, and then you don't see that. In the film, in the theatrical film, you saw that, but in the edited version, you don't see that. And I gotta say, I mean, I'm disappointed looking back at it. I'm just saying, like, I may have liked the action sequences, like, those are only parts of fun. Okay, I'm having fun, but other parts I'm just saying, like, it went, my anticipation for went, like, from, like, here, like when you're watching this film, it's like a roller coaster. It goes up and down, up and down. Like there's like highs, and then there's really lows. And I gotta say, some of the highlights of the film is the makeup is really freaking good, and the creature effects are really good as well. But they had actually done this like more of a like say Hellboy around the world, and like didn't have much but I mean you probably have to have the Hellboy being a trying to save the world kind of deal again, but I mean I can say this movie was really bad. Originally the film I was going to put on as number one was going to be Cats, but by the time I thought, okay, when it was in theaters, I thought, I don't really want to see this. And then one of my friends, he kept on telling me, I was like, hey, I'm working on this list. What are your thoughts? He said, okay, it seems good, but add Cats. And then I thought, I have no way to watch this unless I watch it on Fire Stick, and I thought, no. I tried to watch in a few seconds of it, and then I thought, what in the heck am I watching? I mean, I'll give Cats one thing. It's a story about nothing and just extremely terrible, like nightmare fuel of effects of cockroach people and mice people and cats that look like they're always about to just bang. And that's just what oh my goodness. But hopefully you've liked my comments, or hopefully you just like thought, okay, this guy's crazy. But what are your thoughts? I mean, what are your worst top 10s of 2019? And did we share any of them or not? I mean, but then again, if there's some films you disagree with me on, some of these films are in your top 10, that's awesome. I'm glad you're able to enjoy something that either I thought, okay, this was extremely bad, or something like that. I mean, that's the great thing about film. It's all subjective. But thank you for watching and spending this hour with me. Holy crud. Holy shit. And I'll see you next time, where I talk about, like, say, maybe I'm not going to do it best, because that is going to be extremely hard for me there. It really will be. But, see you later.